Hey guys, it's Ice again. I got a review for you today. This is the Coast DX340. Now this is a very high quality knife. I'm not going to review the price to you until the end of the video, just so you don't have a biased perspective of this knife. I'll go over the stats really quick, then I'll get into my opinions on some stuff. The blade length is 3.35 inches. So it's a very appropriate blade length for an EDC use. This blade was designed for tactical purposes. It would do very well in an EDC situation as well. The steel is 7CR17 stainless. So it's not a crappy steel. It's definitely not a super steel by any means. It's about a mid-class 2 steel. So it's very easy to sharpen up. I have put a new edge on this one. It's very easy to reprofile that edge. It holds it relatively well, but it is very easy to sharpen up. Has a wicked point on this thing, very well centered. Got a pretty good balance right there. It's about the midpoint. My guess would be this is a black powder coat or something of that nature. The weight is 3.5 ounces, which is very lightweight, especially for an EDC or tactical knife. That's 0.219 pounds. It has a deep carry tip down pocket clip. The handle scales are aluminum. It has steel liners, both are milled out, and it has a liner lock with a safety on it. The safety does not actuate when the blade is opened, only the liner lock does. If you want that safety, it is there for you to use it. Essentially, you just flip this switch, so that little piece of metal will go in front of the liner and stop it from moving to the side. So that'll also help prevent lock failures, because this is a relatively thin liner. Now the handle length is 4.65 inches, obviously much longer than the blade, so it doesn't have a great handle to blade length ratio. The overall length is 8 inches even. All these measurements are accurate. I have confirmed them myself, so I'll go into my opinion on some of these things. This is a very, very high quality knife for what you're getting. It's all very thin, lightweight. That's what this knife is really about. It's got a deep carry pocket clip, very discreet. If it's on your pocket, that's all anyone is going to be seeing. The pocket clip goes in very easily. I've had a lot of other knives that it's kind of difficult to slide the knife onto the pocket because, you know, it just has things underneath the pocket clip in the way. But this just slides right onto the pocket. It's very easy to get on. It holds it very well. The liner is very thin. I do not think this blade could take a whole lot of abuse without that lock failing, but as a general use, light tactical EDC, this is going to be a very good knife. The side of the liner lock is actually thicker in both the handle scale and the liner than the side without the liner lock. That was definitely intentional, I think simply because that taking the liner out of the position usually hinders the structure of the knife somewhat, so that was just trying to compensate for that. The safety isn't incredibly useful simply because it doesn't automatically actuate when the blade is opened. You have to do all of it yourself. It's not the best safety design, but it's there if you need it, so if you don't like safeties, it definitely doesn't get in the way. It does have ambidextrous thumb studs. This was definitely designed as a tactical knife. This has relatively shallow mid-hollow grind, a pretty deep mid-tactical wedge, very acute 18 to 20 degree blade angle. So it's a very well-designed tactical blade. Now there are some shortcomings to this blade, of course, one of which is that it is slow. It has sort of a stiff hinge here, so you really have to get behind it a lot to flick it out. Even without the wrist flick, it's pretty hard to get it out in one shot. So it's not a very fast knife. That's just one of the shortcomings. Another would be that the jimping right here, although it has great jimping on the back of the blade on the thumb ramp, it was sort of poorly designed because it's covered up by the handle when you lock the blade in place. So as you can see, the jimping is exposed right here, but then when the further you move the blade up, the more of the jimping is covered up by this handle scale, so your thumb isn't even contacting any of that jimping. They definitely could have put a little more thought into that. But if you were to take these handle scales off and just like grind down this aluminum scale, you could definitely get some good jimping right there. Wouldn't be too much work. Now it does have a lanyard hole if you so desire. In terms of blade play, there's absolutely none. Even if I really force it, there's just There's no blade play, it locks up really tight. This is a very solid knife. It's going to be very good, enduring quality. It's very thin, very lightweight, very discreet pocket clip, so for an EDC use, this is going to be a fantastic knife. All that considered, I'll reveal the price to you. This is a $7 knife. You're getting all that, and you have a manufacturer lifetime warranty from Coast against defects in materials and workmanship. Is a very good deal. You just think about it, $7, you can spend more than that on a burrito these days. I've seen $50 knives that aren't this good. So if you're looking for a cheap EDC to hold you over, this one will definitely do the job. For what you're paying, this is a fantastic knife. I don't think I've ever seen so much bang for buck in a knife. Now I'll give you a nice close-up of this blade here. So again, this is a very, very high quality knife. Aluminum handle scales, liner lock with the safety. There's the safety being actuated. Milled out both steel liners and handle scales. Ambidextrous thumb stud. Deep carry pocket clip. Light hollow grind, acute blade angles, tactical swedge, drop point back recurve blade design. Very good knife for what you're getting. Now I know I've had quite a few reviews up lately of some really cheap knives. I will have some much more pricey blades coming up soon, both fixed and folding. So stay tuned for that. I just had to do a review on this one because the price on this just blew my mind. To someone who's not schooled in their knives, this could easily be mistaken for a very expensive knife. For example, like the Benchmade AFO, it's very similar to this knife. That's a $200 knife easy, whereas this is just $7. And of course the blade steel is much crappier. It's a liner lock, just things like that. If you're looking for a blade to hold you over at a very cheap price, definitely go this direction. So this has been the Coast DX340. This has been Ice. Thanks for listening, guys.